Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will direct my questions to the Minister of Public Safety regarding this government's gun confiscation plan. I'd like to ask the Minister why this government is creating more rules for hunters and sport shooters instead of targeting violent criminals.
The Honourable Minister. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And perhaps the member opposite missed our announcement where we prohibited weapons that were not designed either for hunting or sport shooting, but were designed for soldiers to use in combat, and they have no place in a civil society. Those weapons are now prohibited. And I'm looking forward
to Mr. Melillo. Mr. Melillo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Minister has actually admitted earlier in this committee that some of the firearms that he has prohibited are used for hunting. And I would like to note that the Minister often uses terms like military style and assault style. I'd like to provide the Minister some time to define that ambiguous term for us.
The Honourable Minister. Yeah, if the member opposite needs any clarity, I'd invite him to go to the Order in Council and look at the 1,500 models and variants that we have now prohibited, and they include such weapons as those that were used at Christchurch, at Sandy Hook, in Montreal at the École Polytechnique, in Quebec at the mosque, weapons that have been used in mass murder and have no place in our society.
Mr. Melillo.
I'm afraid, Mr. Speaker, that does not provide any more clarity for us, but I will move on, and I would like to know if the Minister's Department has any estimates on how many gangs and criminal organizations are going to comply with this ban.
The Honourable Minister.
Yeah, we know, Mr. Speaker, that many of the people that are involved in criminal activities get their guns from a number of different locations. And so that's why we'll be taking very strong steps at the very first opportunity to bring legislation forward to stop guns from being smuggled into the country, stop them from being stolen from gun owners, and stop them from being criminally diverted. We've made investments in communities and in law enforcement to deal with gun activity.
Go back to Mr. Melillo. Mr. Melillo.
If the Minister has the number, can his department, can he tell us how many gangs he expects to comply with this ban?
The Honourable Minister.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I fully expect that as a result of the measures that we will take, it will be far more difficult for anyone who wishes to commit a crime with a firearm to gain access to that firearm, and for firearms that have been used to murder innocent civilians and women in this country. They have now been prohibited.
The Conservative Party has brought forward a number of solutions to combat gun crime. These include stronger mental health supports and cracking down on illegal gun smuggling. I would like to know if the Minister agrees that programs such as those would be more beneficial than his plan.
The Honourable Minister.
Yeah, let's talk facts, Mr. Speaker. And in fact, a Conservative government prior to our being elected actually cut the RCMP and our border services officers by hundreds of millions of dollars and thousands of people and staff, thereby weakening our response to those gangs. And for some reason, the Conservatives don't want to talk about guns when we're talking about gun crime.
We'll go back to Mr. Melillo.
Does the Minister know how much this firearms confiscation plan is going to cost? And if so, would he agree that that money would be better spent on cracking down on gun smuggling?
The Honourable Minister.
I'm glad the member mentioned gun smuggling, because we invested $86 million in CBSA and in the RCMP to conduct investigations at our border for those gangs and individuals responsible for smuggling guns, and the member's party voted against that.
Mr. Melillo.
I would like to provide the Minister about 30 seconds to elaborate on that plan and tell us how his government has actually taken action on cracking down on gun smuggling, because many people haven't seen it.
The Honourable Minister.
Yeah, I'd invite the member to maybe drop by one of the hardworking posts at point of entry where our CBSA officers are doing an extraordinary job and utilizing the new tools and resources and staffing that we have provided, and we're going to continue to do that by bringing forward new authorities, new offenses, and new penalties for those people who smuggle guns into this country, and I hope the member opposite will finally support.
Mr. Melillo, a brief question.
Thank you. I'd like to know if the Minister has any stats on how many guns are smuggled into Canada each year versus guns that are domestically sourced and used in gun crimes in Canada.
The Honourable Minister.
Yes, we do.